All right, we're
Sorry.
getting local, everybody,
Yep.
and we're going to check out what is trending this morning on the Chicago subreddit. I think there's about 500,000, 593,000 members of the Chicago. Okay, so this is a
this
post
Dibs?
from, let's see, this was from a day ago. Is the question on this one, is this Dibs?
Do you see the car flipped upside down? How did that happen, you guys?
Hold on, I'm
What?
tethered in here. What are we looking at
There
there?
it is.
Oh my gosh, how did that happen?
How did that happen? And nobody else is affected by this. It's like the car was dropped from the sky onto...
When? Oh my God. Delaney, when was this posted? This is 3 days ago. I wonder if we covered this over the weekend. How does, on a side street especially, you know, you can imagine an overturned car accident happening on one of the main arterials of Chicago, but that looks like a neighborhood
That's
street,
what I'm
right?
saying. How did this even happen? So is this Dibs, I would say.
Is this Dibs? Yeah, I'd say you got that spot safe for a while. The lights, the headlights are still on. Those still work.
And there's nobody
Okay.
around, right? It's like, where is everybody that's running out to help
All
or
right.
see what's going on out here?
All right, Chicago.
Hey, if you own this car, please
we
reach
need
out.
we need the backstory.
We need the story.
All right, what else we got that's popping on the our Chicago
Reddit.
subreddit here? Let me see. I know there was.
Have you ever been in an accident like that where you flip over?
Gosh, knock on wood.
Right? Yes. No.
Thankfully not.
No, but I did see a story actually over the weekend of this woman who had two of her kids in the car. The video actually showed it. She was going through a stop sign, but the person that was going across was not stopping, hit them. She rolled. They were all three fine. All three of them were fine.
They got a guardian angel up there.
Yes, they do.
So I know that Mike Kaplan likes to kind of nerd out over some of the, because I was surfing this a little bit earlier, nerd out over some of the nature stuff.
Yes.
The migratory birds, all the plant life.
The hummingbirds are coming.
The hummingbirds. Did you see that clip that he has?
I did.
That was so great. Our very own Mike Kaplan has set up a live stream of his hummingbird feeder, and you can actually hear the twittering.
This is another story you missed, actually. We talked about this.
Oh,
Can I
okay.
tell you something?
Sure.
So I bully Mike Kaplan into trying to get him to buy a birdhouse because I have two. And I was like, Mike, you got to do it. Like, this is just so fun. So he's like, look, I'll get a hummingbird feeder instead. I was like, okay, fine. So long story short, I have two birdhouses because I thought that my bluebirds would come back this year. They haven't. I've got no nest in my birdhouses. But over the weekend, I was using our powder bathroom, you know, like the main floor bathroom. Yeah. And I was sitting there and I thought, is that a raccoon? Like I heard scratch, 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 scratch. So I was like, great, I think we have an animal. And so he went outside and there's like a fan in the bathroom. And on the outside of the house, there's like a vent. These birds made a nest.
In the vent?
In the bathroom vent. So I'm not gonna.
Choice.
And so I was standing out there,
choice
and it has
of
a
venue
flap,
by those birds. Okay, yeah,
The
we have the
flap
same
was
setup
going,
at our house.
and they snuck in, and it was a big bird, you guys. So we've got a nest. It's just not in an ideal location, and I'm not kicking them out.
I saw somebody posted on the Our Chicago Today. It was an aerial shot of some of the migratory birds. They were flying in formation because I don't know if you know this, Caitlin, but
We're in the path.
we are on a corridor, and that is why all the like the bird advocates are always advocate for these glazed windows because bird strikes are by the thousands this time of year in Chicago with all our glass and steel buildings.
Yes. And if you're wondering, you see like women, I've seen them walking around with these nets.
Yeah, there it is.
They're trying to save these birds that have run into the buildings. Oh, look at that. And our piping plovers. Maybe we've got some.
Yeah, our little piping
They're
plovers.
back this year too.
Delaney, what's the name of these that we're looking at here? It starts with a C.
You know what else?
Those aren't seagulls, but they're like I was reading a little bit about them, and they're apparently this breed right here is like one of the most reviled. Cormorant.
Cormorant?
Is that how we pronounce it?
Maybe we could pull up a picture
Where's
of
Mike
it.
Kaplan?
Do I have my phone?
Where's Mike Kaplan when we need him?
I can look it up.
But they're incredible creatures. They can they're like penguins.
They can swim.
They can swim amazingly well. They can go all the way to the bottom of the lake or the ocean
and catch
fish. They've got a hooked beak. It's really actually fascinating.
Do we have it? I'm trying to pull it up. Let's see.
I went down a little. Yeah, there they are.
Oh, they're huge.
Yeah.
That's a lot bigger than I thought.
Cormorant.
Oh, I see.
And
Cormorant.
Do you see the look? Check out the beak, Caitlin. of these
Let's
things.
see this
There's
beak.
a little hook on the end.
It almost looks like it's, yeah, it doesn't belong here, right?
But I didn't get to the part where it talks about why they're so reviled. Because look at how cute they are. They're a little penguin-esque, right?
So they're the only two species of family commonly encountered in Britain and Ireland. Wait a second.
They come through Chicago.
And they come to
apparently.
Chicago. Medium to large birds. They weigh up to 11 pounds. So these are big boys.
Yep. And so that's what was flying in formation on our lakefront.
Wow.
Caitlin, last week, actually,
150 feet they can dive, by the way.
That's
150
unbelievable.
feet.
You gotta have lungs, and they're
What?
speedy. They're speedy
What?
underwater. I asked. We hosted 3 artists, the Chicago Artists of the Year, on our show. I believe it was Friday, and I asked each of them for a recommendation for our viewers about where to go. And the first guy, he's an amateur photographer. He was just picked as one of the 2025 Chicago Artists of the Year.
Yeah.
And he's like, go to Montrose Harbor and watch the migratory birds. There's a whole bird sanctuary out there. If you haven't been, it is adjacent to Montrose Harbor, and where the boats are. If you go behind there and you get off at the Montrose exit, you can just walk over there, and you'll see all kinds of awesome birds this time of year.
Really?
Yeah, so check that out.
Have you heard of the app that, sorry, go ahead, Delaney.
I live right by there, and they built like little bird condos right down by the
Bird condos.
We roll out the red carpet for our birds here in Chicago, don't we?
Everybody loves birds. You can get this app these days too, where you pull it up when you're outside if you hear some tweeting going on, singing, and it'll tell you what kind of birds
Based
you're
on the
hearing.
audio?
Yes.
That is so cool.
Yes.
That is so cool. We got an app for everything now. My wife just downloaded the kind of the same thing for the plants.
Yeah.
Where you can
Oh,
just
yeah,
hold
you
your
take a
hold
picture
of
and
the
then
leaf, and it analyzes the vein patterns of the leaves, and you get the thing immediately. Delaney, if we can pull up, I saw a really cool Etch A Sketch picture. Do your kids have an Etch A? Oh, okay.
What
There
are we
it
looking
is.
at here?
Okay, look closely. Look closely and see if you can make it out. It's a little hard from this angle.
Zion National Park.
It actually does. I can see where you're going there. That's the bean, correct?
That's the bean.
That's the bean. Okay, so
Oh,
that's
the
the reflection
reflection.
of the buildings. It actually looked a little more intelligible on a smaller screen.
Okay.
But my 3-year-olds have been playing with the Etch A Sketch. This is
This
one of
isn't
those.
yours
This is one of the toys.
picture?
No,
No.
oh my
Oh.
gosh, if I had that kind of ability.
Okay.
But this is one of the toys that has stood the test of time.
I need to get one of these bad boys.
Your kids don't have an Etch A Sketch?
No.
We're gonna have to rectify that situation.
We have just like the
Kate.
magnet thing where you draw with the pencil and the magnet.
Those are good too, because you can delete them right away.
Have your kids gotten butterflies from school to release? I think this is a thing
Not
that's
yet.
happening. And you can also like purchase these kits online, I guess. Our neighbors came over because they're butterflies. You can get these things where it's like, speaking of migrating things, this is where I'm going with this, but it comes in like a netted enclosure. And I guess it comes with the little caterpillars. And then you can watch the whole cycle of the butterflies.
That's so cool.
And then you feed them fruit for a couple of days, and then you can take them outside and release them. And I was reading you should release them by trees for protection from the wind and from predators. But we did release our neighbor's butterflies a couple weeks back, and then it got really cold. So I'm not really sure
I hope they're doing okay.
about how that went with those.
We have had some nature experts, local ones, wildlife experts that are continuing to encourage everybody out there to plant milkweed. To bring
I have
back
milkweed, and
You
it's
do?
coming out of the ground.
Okay.
Yes, for
that's
the,
on
for the
our
butterflies.
list. That's for sure on our list for this summer as well.
Yeah.
We've got a couple blank canvases.
Yes.
We'll call them in our
Spots
backyard.
for your
yeah,
milkweed.
exactly.
I got my flowers in yesterday.
Good for you.
Got some coffee at 5 o'clock, went to Home Depot, picked out some flowers. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I did look for part sunflowers. We got a little bit of purple, a little bit of pink. Are you guys doing some gardening?
We are definitely, and actually one of the segments that we had this morning for homeowners out there with a lawn is this whole no mow May trend. Did I get that right? No mow May.
For
Have
the
you
creatures.
heard of what that is?
Yes.
Okay.
It's so the bunnies, right, can have
pollinators.
babies. Wait.
Yes.
But okay, wait.
I wish
this
that
is-
were true.
It could be both.
There's no shortage of bunnies out there, at least in my neighborhood. No, this is
Kaplan
for
had a camera
same
with
thing.
baby bunnies,
No,
okay.
Same exact
Same
concept
idea.
with bees.
Sure.
With bees, because we're trying to bring pollinators back, and
Got it.
apparently, this no mow May thing is a big trend right now, where you basically either agree to not mow your lawn at all for the entire month, or to keep that lawnmower on the highest setting, and that way,
some of the lower standing natural wildflowers here in the Midwest will grow, and that'll encourage bees to come back. And the goal here is to revitalize the honeybee population,
honeybees.
which has been suffering in recent years.
And also, I remember talking about this story in years past. You don't have to do your whole lawn, okay? Just leave like the
Yeah, that's
corner
right.
of your lawn if you have an HOA maybe or something. If you don't have that much, you don't want to do the whole grass. I get it, but just leave a part of your yard open for that tall grass for the bees or the bunnies.